Hi everyone, I want to talk about objectives and key results popularized by John Doerr in his book Measure What Matters, and there's a lovely website to support it, whatmatters.com. There is some tension between objectives, key results and agility. I think in the right hands, objectives and key results can be quite positive. There is a danger when objectives and key results are in the wrong hand, and I also want to explain where some tension might lie between agility and objectives and key results. Let's step back and think again about the Cynefin sense-making framework. In the ordered space, people know where to get the information, they can do more analysis, they can follow a recipe, or they can bring in the right experts to bear, and they can figure out what to do, and they'll probably get it right the first time. In that space, goals are very appropriate and they're very useful. In the complex space, where we don't know what we don't know, a direction of travel is more appropriate. If you use goals, and as long as you're thinking empirically that maybe some of those goals are wrong and they might need to change, then that's essentially a direction of travel, and that's reasonably okay. So coming back to objectives and key results, with objectives and key results, you can set an objective or goal that you want to achieve over a time period. It might be over a semester, might be a quarter, might even be longer. And there would be some tangible key results that you would deliver to meet those objectives that might demonstrate our progress towards those objectives. And we strive to get maybe over 70, 80, maybe 80% of our key results delivered, because that indicates that there's some level of stretch, that we haven't sandbagged, we haven't over exaggerated what can be achieved in a quarter, or underestimated what can be achieved in a quarter. We've been maybe not too conservative with our planning. What we really want with key results is that you're going for maybe over 70%. If you're achieving 100% of your key results, it's likely that you're not really playing the game the way John Doerr would have hoped you would have played it. But I want to talk a little bit about two different types of key result. And one of the types of key result is aspirational, and the other one is committed. And this is where the tension exists between agility and objectives and key results, as described by John Doerr. With committed key results, what happens is we're expected to metaphorically move mountains if we're missing those key results. So commitment is almost a guarantee. We're expected to do whatever is needed to get that done. Now, I do realize that sometimes that might be needed, but this is where the tension exists between agility and key results. In Scrum, for example, commitment does not mean a guarantee. The higher order of commitment is to quality, delivering high quality increments, and commitment towards the Scrum values and the 3 pillars of transparency, inspection and adaptation, essentially trying to be empirical, using evidence to help us to decide what we might want to do next. So in Kanban as well, we try to deliver as quickly as we can to try to find out as soon as possible if those outputs that we thought had value actually have value or not, so we find out sooner. And so even in Kanban, there's a sense that maybe the outputs that we've planned might not be the right outputs, so we're trying to get feedback as quick as we can. You can do that through customer interviews, experiments, but you can also deliver small outputs to try and get some early feedback on whether we're on the right track. And the thing is that most goals in agility are aspirational. We hope we'll achieve them, but we don't try to move mountains if we're not achieving them, because you know what, they might be the wrong goals. When we learn, when we are truly empirical, we either persevere based on the evidence, we pivot because the evidence is telling we should pivot and go in a different direction, or we stop because we realize we're wasting a lot of money and maybe we should actually consider some other venture, some other investment instead. So there is tension between objectives, key results and agility. And if you have an agile way of thinking, an agile way of behaving, it's probably not so bad. If your organization is still truly output oriented, it can be dangerous. So be careful out there. Thank you.